We're going to go ahead and call the Monday, April 28th Commission meeting to order. If you would, please stand for the invocation and pledge. Dearly Father, we come to you this evening. We ask that you give us wisdom to make the best decisions for our city. In your precious name, amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're going to move on to proclamations. We have a couple of those this evening. The first one would be for Child Abuse Prevention Month. I'll go ahead and read that into the record. Whereas children are essential to our city's future success, prosperity, and quality of life, and all children have a right to thrive, learn, and grow to their full potential. And whereas in 1974, Congress enacted the Child Abuse Prevention and Treatment Act, the first major federal legislation addressing child abuse and neglect. And whereas in 2008, Prevent Child Abuse America designated the pinwheel as the national symbol for child abuse prevention, representing the 6 protective factors that help reduce the risk of a child experiencing abuse or neglect. 1, concrete support. Concrete support. 2, social and emotional competence. 3, resilience. 4, social connections. 5, knowledge of parenting and child development. And 6, nurturing and attachment. And whereas abuse and neglect can severely impact a child's physical, mental, and emotional well-being and can lead to learning and behavioral issues that in return may cause lasting trauma and economic hardships that affect all of society. Whereas child abuse prevention is a community responsibility and finding solutions depends on involvement among all people. Whereas effective child abuse prevention programs succeed because of the community partnerships created with families, social service agencies, schools, businesses, faith-based organizations, nonprofit groups, law enforcement, and judicial systems. Whereas together we can work to ensure that Leesburg children will grow to their full potential as the next generation of leaders, helping to secure the future of our city, state, and nation. Whereas the members of the Southside Looming Plus Club are advocates for child abuse prevention and encourage others to recognize the need for safe, healthy environments for children. Now, therefore, I, Alan Reisman, Mayor of the City of Leesburg, Florida, do hereby proclaim April 2025 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in the City of Leesburg and call upon all citizens of Leesburg to become involved in helping families raise their children in secure and positive surroundings. Thank you. If you would come up and we'll get a photo with you.
This is the pinwheel that the mayor was referring to. And in many states, for example, Texas, they actually decorate the public buildings in the different, in the different cities with the pinwheels. And it's my hope that we can spread the word in the state of Florida. Currently, there are only 6 counties in this state which are part of the program of preventing child abuse, which there are 3 agencies involved. I have given to your secretary, your clerk, the list of the 3 agencies. And it is my hope, and I am dedicated to try to get the 3 counties which involve the villages, which is Marion, Sumter, as well as Lake County, to be represented in this great state of Florida. And it's an upward battle. But the most important thing is the grassroots. It is you. There are many ways we can prevent child abuse. And I've had many commissioners in the different places I've been asking me, what can I do? I did leave with the clerk what has been published from the state of Florida. And it is available to you, and also available to you is how you can get help from the state of Florida. She has those papers. So I appreciate the warm welcome which I have received here in this wonderful city of Leesburg. I love your city. It's a beautiful city, and you have so many beautiful resources. I don't know that many people in Leesburg, but I'm sure you're as beautiful as your surroundings. So thank you so much. And just remember, there's plenty of help out there. But again, it's up to you. Each of you can help prevent child abuse. So thank you very much. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, love. Next, we're going to move to the Leesburg High School Boys Weightlifting State Champions. If we want to go ahead and bring them in. With Coach Boyer. How are you, sir? That metal clanking. Let it clank. Be proud of that. I'll go ahead and read the proclamation into the record. Whereas the City of Leesburg offers heartfelt congratulations to the Leesburg High School boys weightlifting team, including head coach Josh Boyer and assistant coach Kevin Pierre, on their exceptional performance throughout the 2024 and 2025 season. And whereas through the hard work and perseverance, the 2024-2025 team won district and Olympic, won Class 2A Region 2 and Olympic, and won FHSAA Class T2A Olympic weightlifting championship, making this team the first ever to three-peat in any sport in Lake County Public Schools history. Wow, that's awesome. This legacy of success is a testament to the dedication of the players, coaches, and families, highlighting the value of sports as an avenue through which our student athletes learn about commitment, teamwork, responsibility, and leadership, while preparing them for the future far beyond high school. And whereas the 2024-2025 FHSAA Class 2A Weightlifting Championship, the following lifters medaled in their respective weight classes. Jamar Williams placed 4th in Olympic. Savion Latimore placed 5th in traditional and 3rd in Olympic. Ryan Thompson was state runner-up in Olympic. Gage Anderson was state runner-up in Olympic, and Jeremy Lacey was state runner-up in Olympic and state champion in traditional. And whereas while weightlifting is in many ways an individual sport, the team environment is an integral part of each lifter's success. And the members of the 2024-2025 LHS Boys Weightlifting Team are as follows: Caden Adams, Gage Anderson, Jeremy Lacey, Savion Latimore, Theo Prater, Alexander Santamaria, Ryan Thompson, Jamar Williams, Macole Aguilar, Legend Anderson, David Brown, William Campbell, Ian Carlos, Vincent Chen, Robert Claudio, Brendan Coffey, Dakari Connor, Colin Couples, Tyler Davis, Tyrell Davis, Kobe Elland, Xavier Ford, Elijah Frazier, Josh Givens, Troy Godwin, Trayron Hamberry, Gustavo Hernandez, Tyler Cost, Donovan McCullen, Jeremy Neely, Breon Porter, Wade Rector, Jonathan Rivera, Brody White, Theus Williams, Anthony Wine. Now, therefore, I, Alan Reisman, Mayor of the City of Leesburg, Florida, do hereby proclaim the outstanding sportsmanship and extraordinary achievements of the 2024-2025 Leesburg High School Boys Weightlifting Team. Applaud their three-peat state championship. Urge all citizens of Leesburg to celebrate this extraordinary season and wish them continued success. Go Jackets. Last but not least, our very own Miss Andy and Miss Anna for Municipal Clerks Week. Whereas the Office of the Municipal Clerk is a time-honored and essential part of local government that exists throughout the world, and whereas the Office of the Municipal Clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the Office of the Municipal Clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local government body, governing bodies, and agencies of the government at all levels. Whereas municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. Whereas the municipal clerk serves as information center on functions of local government and community. Whereas municipal clerks continue to strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the Office of the Municipal Clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and annual meetings of their county, state, and international professional organizations. And whereas it is the most appropriate that we recognize this accomplishment of the office of the municipal clerk. Now therefore, I, Alan Reisman, Mayor of the City of Leesburg, do hereby proclaim the week of May 4th through 10th, 2025, as Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to our municipal clerks, J. Andy Purvis and Anna Rotterman, and to all municipal clerks for their vital service they perform in their exemplary dedication to our community. Congratulations, ladies. We're going to move on to presentations, and we have a special one tonight. We have County Commissioner Timothy Morris, District 5. He would like to say a few words. Welcome.
I've got about a half an hour speech, is that all right? This is Tim Morris, 9605 Silver Lake Drive, Leesburg, Florida, 34788. I'm your District 5 County Commissioner. I'm going out to all the cities to introduce myself, let them know that I didn't have anybody run against me, so a lot of people know I'm a County Commissioner. Just wanted to say I'm available. I've left some cards over there. I think everybody but Jay has my personal phone number now, so I'll make sure you get that.
I got it.
Okay, you got it too. But anyway, I want to thank you for the lively meeting we had 2 Mondays ago. I was in the back, listened to most of it. It was very positive, believe it or not, in my opinion. There were facts given, and the county had facts, the city had facts. But the good part about it is, at least we are drilling down to the facts now. We're getting to what it really costs to run an operation, both the city and the county, and we all have the same problems. We all have infrastructure problems, we have growth problems. So my ask of you, as it is with the 13 other municipalities, is let's get our future land use maps together. We have Kimberly Horn working on them right now. For the county, for the 2050 comp plan. If we can get the future land use maps from all the cities, we can all sit down and have a discussion. And I think it would be a very positive thing to have that discussion to see where the growth needs to go. Al's a great numbers guy. I mean, his numbers he knows how to work them. The county has great staff. All the other municipalities have very smart people also. So I just want to get us all around the table to try to deal with the growth issues and infrastructure issues. Other than that, do you have any questions of me? Well, that's even better.
I think we're good.
But you're welcome to come on any Tuesday morning, and I'll introduce you, and you can speak all you want to speak on Tuesdays.
Sir.
How about that?
Commissioner Morris, we appreciate you coming out.
Thank you very
sir.
much. I appreciate what y'all do, too.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
All right.
Thank you, sir. We're going to move to public comments. This section is reserved for members of the public to bring up matters of concern or opportunities for praise. Please note that issues raised during this time will not be discussed in detail during the current meeting. They'll either be referred to the appropriate staff or scheduled for consideration at a future City Commission meeting. Each speaker is allocated 3 minutes to provide their comments. Kindly adhere to this time limit to ensure equal opportunity for all participants and to support the efficient conduct of the meeting. Thank you. Do we have any public comments this evening? Yep, this is public comments. Yes, ma'am. If you would, just state your name and address for the record.
Melissa McCracken's Irish Pub. I live at 1350 Selman Road. I'm in unincorporated Leesburg. Okay, so Alan asked if I could come and talk about how I felt the event went this weekend. And I have lots of positive things to say. They had a lot of growth. My entire team is exhausted. I had 6 call-outs today, which is why I am in my cooking uniform, because I got to cook today. Because all my employees were so tired they couldn't make it in. I have talked to 4 businesses, and they all said 20 to 25% growth in sales over last year, so that's very positive. Last year, my restaurant didn't even go on a wait, and I know I'm kind of on the way in down there by 9th, but this year we were on a 2-hour wait for several hours. We had a great turnout, and I think that we're seeing a positive growth as we're going away from COVID, and I think that the advertising Maggie did with the radio stations and all the other stuff was to the benefit of all of the businesses downtown. I don't know if I have any other comments unless anyone had a question about how something went down, because I was definitely there for the whole thing, so I can answer any questions.
Just appreciate you coming
Okay,
out and
all
giving
right,
that
you got
feedback.
it.
Thank you, Ms. McKelly. Any other public comments this evening? Yes, yes, you can come up. Yes, ma'am. This,
I'm not sure if this is the right.
if it's regarding an agenda item, we can get that later, but if this is something else,
I'm just not sure. I couldn't find it on the agenda, so I'm just not real sure.
yes, ma'am. All right, any other public comments? We'll close public comments. We're going to move on to the consent agenda. Routine items are placed on the consent agenda to expedite the meeting. If the commission or staff wish to discuss any item, the procedure is as follows. 1, pull the item or items from the consent agenda. 2, vote on the remaining items with 1 roll call vote. 3, discuss each pulled item and vote by roll call. Are there any items the commissioners would like to pull this evening?
Go ahead. Yes, I'd like to just have a question in reference to 5C6.
I was going to pull that too,
Pull that
so.
one. Okay, I just want to know the update, because I
Yeah.
think this morning was
So-
something.
I'll pull 5C6.
Okay,
All right, is that the only item we're going to pull this evening?
that's the only one I
All
have.
right, can I get a motion to approve all remaining items?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Public comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Commissioner Connell?
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson?
Yes.
Commissioner Barry?
Yes,
Mayor Reesman?
Yes. Would someone please introduce 5C6?
I'll introduce, has to be read by title only.
Thank you.
Resolution of the City Commission of the City of Leesburg, Florida, expressing strong opposition for House Bill 1221 related to the use of local option taxes, including tourist development taxes and discretionary sales surtax, and providing an effective date.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second. I pulled this just so the city manager could give a brief rundown. I think this bill would be detrimental to not only our city, but our county. We would never be able to do any capital projects if this bill went through. So I'll just pass that to you, Al.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Mayor. Previously, we did a couple of resolutions and voted on them in reference to some of the ongoing legislation that's coming out of Tallahassee. This one was missed, probably just because it was a little bit later to the game than some of the other ones, but it's equally obnoxious in its point at local government. This bill specifically, House Bill 1221, seeks to limit local option taxes. So local option taxes are really significant for both political subdivisions and municipal corporations in the state of Florida. They concern the penny sales tax, which obviously we use a good deal of. It concerns local option gas tax, which obviously we use a good deal with. Those two issues, we do receive DST monies, and we do receive local option gas tax monies. And the state kind of promulgates that in 2 ways. Our way is not the statutory way, but the way where we have an interlocal agreement with the county where we split that revenue. Obviously, those revenues are significant for our capital improvement projects. The most pointed one in this legislation, though, goes to the TDT dollars, the tourist development dollars, which is commonly known as the head and bed tax, whereby when you stay at a hotel, there's a tax, then that tax ultimately comes back to the political subdivision, the county, and then that money is then distributed by a TDC, Tourist Development Committee, or a BOCC. We have been lucky enough in Leesburg to have those monies on a few occasions. One was excuse me. One was the walkways there in Ski Beach. And then the other is Susan Street since I've been here. So TDCs are significant dollars that go towards capital improvements that help us bring in tourists and those type of things. So with the state looking to eliminate those or shift how those are done, they definitely have an impact on local government. So this is another resolution where I would encourage the commission to approve this resolution and get this to the governor and the state legislature and our local delegation.
Thank you all. Any comments from the commission?
I just have a question. Do you have any updates of the latest as of this morning? or-
I don't, not as of this morning. I did have a conversation with our lobbyist, Ryan Matthews. and he does think it's getting some steam as far as some type of passage, but we'll know shortly, I guess. But the best thing we can do is to pass the resolution and get it up to the state and let our state legislatures know. I will speak a shout out to Representative Cobb. When you all pass the resolutions in opposition to a few other actions, Nan has been working tirelessly, keeping in communication with me as well, as far as kind of how stuff is progressing through committees and that kind of stuff. So I think you can rest assured that Nan's been looking out for us while she's up there.
I also have another question. There was like 12, I think, missing votes for this on the last, I think the last count was on the 25th, Friday, was it? Yeah.
Yeah, there was some, and I don't know the details of it, but there was some interest in how the bill kind of got walked in kind of late. Some of the resolutions have some lines in the whereas clauses that speak to how it quickly got on the agenda and swiftly moved through some committees. Some of it is maybe in reference to some of the talk from the governor's office about trying to recreate ad valorem revenues and trying to shift around different local option tax to subsidize differently than property taxes go. So in all honesty, this legislative, I thought the one about 2 years ago was bad when they started talking about creation of authorities and really affecting our transfers from enterprise funds. But honestly, this legislative session's probably been the worst I've seen in a long, long time. And they really can't end session soon enough as far as I'm concerned.
So we just have to wait. So we can't do any other, without resolution?
The best you can do, the resolution or make personal calls
say,
to
should we
our
encourage-
representatives, get to make personal, hopefully if you guys have Senator Trunow and Representative Cobb's phone numbers, call them, let them know. It's the best you can do.
Should we encourage our constituents as well? to do the same?
Absolutely.
That's what I thought.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any further comments?
It seems like everything coming out of this session is an attack on municipalities. I mean, I know the ad valorem tax, I don't believe got any traction, but what are we supposed to do? They're trying to strip revenue everywhere we look. I'll just stop right there. It's just nuts.
It's been a rough session, that's for sure. And the way this one is ending, it looks like it will pick up next year equally as brutal.
Just another question, just add to it. If the budget hadn't taken place, that meeting yet, what happens then? Do they push it back further? Does it go past the actual date? The budget process, when they actually review that? I understand that hasn't taken place at all.
With reference to property taxes?
Yeah.
I don't know. My guess is they'll probably, like you see in this legislation a lot, like this House bill, for example, everything is effective October 1st. So they're kind of gearing it up for the start of our fiscal years. So if they do something I'm not going to mince words, if they do something as crazy as remove ad valorem revenues, I would hope we would get more than the summer to deal with that, but we'll have to wait and see.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Any public comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Commissioner Peterson?
Yes.
Commissioner Berry?
Yes.
Commissioner Connell?
Yes.
Mayor Reesman?
Yes. We're going to move on to public hearings and non-routine items. If our city attorney, you would do the swearing in, sir?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Everybody who's here this evening and wishes to speak on either second reading item 6A3, which is the two boats rezoning, or first reading item 6B3, which is the Old Mill PUD rezoning. If you would please stand and raise your right hand so we can get everybody sworn in. All right. Do you swear or affirm that all testimony you'll give tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. All right. Thank you all. Mr. Mayor, we're
Thank you, City Attorney. Would someone please introduce 6A1? 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, we can do 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, I'll introduce 6A, 1, 2, and 3. Be read, not be read.
Not be read.
Oh, okay, well, the short version.
6A1,
An ordinance of the City of Leesburg, Florida, annexing certain real property consisting of approximately 1.22 plus minus acres, being generally located east of U.S. Highway 27 and south of Howard Road, lying in Section 2, Township 20 South, Range 24 East, Lake County, Florida, provided that said property so annexed shall be liable for its proportionate share of the existing and future indebtedness of said city, provided that such annexed property shall be subject to all laws and ordinances of said city, as if all such territory had been a part of the city of Leesburg at the time of passage and approval of said laws and ordinances, providing that such annexed territory shall be placed in City Commission District 3 and providing an effective date. 6A2, an ordinance amending the future land use map of the comprehensive plan of the city of Leesburg, changing the future land use map designation of certain property containing 1.22 plus minus acres from Lake County Urban Low to City of Leesburg General Commercial for property generally located east of U.S. Highway 27 and south of Howard Road, lying in Section 2, Township 20 South, Range 24 East, Lake County, Florida, and providing an effective date. 6A3, an ordinance of the City of Leesburg, Florida, changing the zoning of approximately 1.22 plus minus acres from Lake County C1 neighborhood commercial to City of Leesburg C3 highway commercial to allow for office and warehouse uses for property generally located east of U.S. Highway 27 and south of Howard Road, lying in Section 2, Township 20 South, Range 24 East, Lake County, Florida, and providing an effective date.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second. Dan, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening. Dan Miller, Planning and Zoning. The overall proposal for this project is a property consisting of 1.2 acres plus or minus. It's generally located east of U.S. Highway 27 and south of Howard Road, as you can see on the screens. This is a request for an annexation, small-scale comp plan, and rezoning of the property. The future land use request is to go from county urban low to city general commercial. The zoning would go from county C1 neighborhood commercial to city C3, which is highway commercial. The request for the use is future development of a 3,000 square foot warehouse. Currently, the site contains a small parking area and a 3-suite office building, which houses some small businesses. I think there's a hair salon in there. As this is a straight rezoning to C3 highway commercial, there's no specific conditions. It's just the basic standard zoning. And there will be, of course, standard review once they come in for a site plan and building permits and retention and so forth. Mr. Doug Wade is the property owner, and he is here to represent the property if there are any questions.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, sir.
Any questions from the commission? Any questions from the, or comments from the applicant? Okay. Any public comments? Seeing none, we'll vote on 6A1.
Commissioner Berry?
Yes.
Commissioner Connell?
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson?
Yes.
Mayor Reisman?
Yes. Any questions or comments from the public on 6A2? Seeing none, roll call.
Motion.
Oh, we need a motion to approve that one.
Motion to approve 6A2.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, roll call.
Commissioner Connell?
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson?
Yes.
Commissioner Berry?
Yes.
Mayor Reisman?
Yes. Can I get a motion for 6A3?
Motion to approve 6A3.
We have a
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Public comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Peterson?
Yes.
Commissioner Berry?
Yes.
Commissioner Connell?
Yes.
Mayor Reisman?
Yes. Would someone please introduce 6A4?
I'll introduce, has to be read by title only.
An ordinance of the City of Leesburg, Florida, amending or adding a PDO, Planned Development Overlay, to the existing R1A single-family residential zoning on approximately 16.22 plus minus acres to allow for agricultural uses for property generally located east of Number 2 Road and south of County Road 48, lying in Section 17, Township 20 South, Range 25 East, Lake County, Florida, and providing an effective date.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Dan?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The overall proposal for this is a request for a planned development overlay to an existing R1A zoning district to allow for agricultural uses on approximately 16.2 acres of land. As you can see, the property is generally located on the south side of County Road 48 and on the east side of Number 2 Road. In this particular location and circumstance, agricultural uses would be compatible with the surrounding uses. The city of Leesburg does not currently have an agriculture district. We have 2 or 3 properties left that are zoned under agriculture, but that is an inactive district, so you can't zone into agriculture. You have to zone out of it. So what we're doing here is just allowing the use time to take place. Eventually, the property will probably be developed, but at this point, it's probably better off to let the owner do agricultural uses. Is just fine with staff. And we have reviewed it and found no negative impacts on the surrounding properties are anticipated.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Any questions for Dan? Would the applicant like to say anything?
John McGee, 18 Lakeshore Drive, Yalaha. And yes, I cannot vote for you. I don't live in the city of Leesburg, but the property is in the city of Leesburg. When Yvonne and I purchased this property, it was the intent to try to keep some of the rural areas of that Lake County rural. And when we found out that the rural use was not there, we went and talked to the good folks at the planning and zoning and asked, and they came up with this plan to do a PDO and a plan development overlay to give us, allow us to use the property for agriculture. We don't intend to build anything on the property. I'm 80 years old. I doubt that anything will be built in my lifetime, and we want to kind of leave it that way and leave it rural on that corner. So I would ask the commission to approve our application. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any questions from the commission? Any public comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Commissioner Berry?
Yes.
Commissioner Connell?
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson?
Yes.
Mayor Reesman?
Yes. Would someone please introduce 6B 1, 2, and 3 to be read by title only?
Yeah, I'll introduce 6B 1, 2, and 3. Ask they be read by title only.
6B1, an ordinance of the City of Leesburg, Florida, annexing certain real property consisting of approximately 37.48 plus minus acres, being generally located east of Radio Road and north of U.S. Highway 441, lying in Section 1, Township 19 South, Range 25 East, Lake County, Florida, provided that said property so annexed shall be liable for its proportionate share of the existing and future indebtedness of said city, provided that such annexed property shall be subject to all laws and ordinances of said city, as if all such territory had been a part of the City of Leesburg at the time of passage and approval of said laws and ordinances, providing that such annexed territory shall be placed in City Commission District 5 and providing an effective date. 6B2, an ordinance amending the future land use map of the comprehensive plan of the City of Leesburg, changing the future land use map designation of certain real property consisting of approximately 37.48 plus minus acres, being generally located east of Radio Road and north of U.S. Highway 441, lying in Section 1, Township 19 South, Range 25 East, Lake County, Florida, and providing an effective date. 6B3, an ordinance of the City of Leesburg, Florida, changing the zoning of approximately 37.48 plus minus acres from Lake County A Agriculture and R6 Urban Residential District to City of Leesburg PUD Planned Unit Development to allow for 32 townhomes and 110 single-family homes for property generally located east of Radio Road and north of U.S. Highway 441, lying in Section 1, Township 19 South, Range 25 East, Lake County, Florida, and providing an effective date.
This is first reading. Dan, Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is for the Old Mill subdivision. The overall proposal, the property consists of approximately 37.5 acres, as our clerk pointed out, generally located east of Radio Road, north of Highway 441. It's a request for an annexation, small-scale comp plan, and rezoning. Under the future land use, it would go from Lake County Urban Low to City of Leesburg Estate. which are equivalent densities. And under the zoning, would go from Lake County A agriculture and R6 urban residential to city PUD, which is planned unit development. The request is for the future development of 142 single-family units in the form of both townhouses, which are attached single-family, and then detached single-family uses. Under the PUD requirements, this would be 110 detached single-family units and 32 attached single-family units, i.e. townhouses, for a total of 142. That would be a 2-floor maximum height, no other use is permitted. For the lot sizes, there would be 67 lots at 50 by 120, which is 6,000 square feet, and 43 lots at 60 by 120 for 7,200 square feet. The house size would be 1,700 and 1,800 square feet respectively, and the front setbacks are a standard 25 in the front, 18 on the rear. Townhouse units would be 20 feet in width with 1,400 square foot sizes. All homes have a minimum 2 off-street parking spaces in the development. There are extra spaces provided in the concept plan for the attached units. Under the design and architectural standards, the standard PUD architectural requirements will apply. There's a list in each PUD that gives them an option of selections that they must take 5 different items from that list. 35% of the property must be an open space. Dark sky lighting is required. There's a split rail fence requirement where development is adjacent to the subject property and on the area where houses will be constructed. Of course, Bahia and Bermuda grass instead of St. Augustine is permitted. 2 trees required on each single-family detached lot. The signage would be a decorative entryway feature of concrete, brick, or stucco. The access point will be from Radio Road in a boulevard-style entryway. And the applicant is also offering a wall needed to, which we will need to write into the PUD. Under recreational requirements, there's a minimum of 28,400 square feet, which will be devoted to a separate recreation area, which would be set aside for amenities such as children's playground, dog park, trails, and pavilions. And in terms of trails, there are walking trails that are required to be provided around the retention ponds and the wetlands areas near the houses on the interior of the project. We do have the phasing clause that requires the development move forward with substantial commencement within 4 years, or it reverts to the RE1 zoning standards, which is 1 acre per unit. And Lake County Public Works came back with some comments about need additional left and right turn lanes on Radio Road, along with additional right-of-way. And let's see. And then they also asked for additional right-of-way from their Public Works Department, and there would be permitting required through Lake County. There was some significant public response to this project. The residents had significant concerns regarding access to the site and the wetlands immediately to the south. Their concerns regarded the 100-foot wide strip of land that you can see where it says subject property on the left. There's that 100-foot wide strip there. They also were concerned about noise, flooding, privacy, property values, security, quality of life. There was a neighborhood meeting. Staff did ask the applicant to do a neighborhood meeting, so they did that. And both the applicant and neighbors probably have presentations and comments which they wish to provide the commission. I don't know if you want to hear those today or at the next meeting. Mr. Logan Opsel is here from the firm Lowndes Cantor in Orlando to represent the project. Thank you, sir.
Any questions for Dan?
I do.
Yes, sir.
Dan, you said that the townhouses are, what is the width of the townhouses?
20 feet.
They don't have garages?
Yes, they have garages.
The width of the townhouse is 20 feet, but they have a garage?
The depth of the garage. The width is 20. The depth of a garage can be 12 feet.
Well, yeah, I mean, I understand, but what are they, I mean, I'm trying to, you're talking about the width that faces the road?
Yes, 20 feet this way.
So they're single-car garages, I'm assuming.
I would assume, yes, sir.
So the single cars are probably 8 or 10 foot, so just, it's 8 or 10 foot of the house and 8 foot or 10 foot of the garage. They takes up to 20 fronting the road?
Yes, sir, that's about, I don't know the exact width of the garage, but it depends, you can make them any size, yeah. That's correct.
You know, as I say, I mean, you at least need 8 or 10 to get a car
Right.
in there.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
I have a question, Dan.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me, give a little more history for us, the meetings from the minutes that I was reading, just to be sure of the vote? I mean, just bring me up to date with. planning and zoning meeting?
I believe it was the March meeting.
That's, yeah.
And so it was a long meeting, and both the applicant gave their presentation, which they have on PowerPoint or something like that, and then the residents were there, and they gave their input. Their biggest concern, and I hope I'm speaking for them correctly here, and if not, I'm sure they'll want to correct that, but they're not concerned about development of the property so much as the area under the word subject property, which is on the left. There's a 100-foot wide strip, okay? That 100-foot wide strip has been there for many, many years, but most of it is wetlands, okay? And in order to get to that property, you either come down that 100-foot wide strip, or you have to come up from the south somewhere, or cut across. The rest of that property is wetlands as well. So it's a very difficult problem to be in, because you're going to have to, and no matter which way you come from, you've got to do some mitigation of the wetlands. The Planning Commission did eventually vote to approve it, but it was after a very long discussion. And the planning commissioner, one of the planning commissioners noted, well, they're going to have to mitigate to get through there one way or another. Staff doesn't have a problem if they're able to come up from the south. I know that they have contacted the owners. One of the owners, Lake County, one of the other owners is, I believe, the mall. So the applicant has been in contact with them.
Isn't the owner of this property the owner of Viaport? The mall?
This specific property, I don't know that one off the top of my head. I heard someone say yes, they may be correct.
I got out and walked it. I can see over the Stonegate wall, and the homes are right up on the wall.
Correct.
I would like to, if this is going to happen, I was given renderings by, I'm assuming, by someone who lives in Stonegate. There's multiple other entrances, I'm assuming, that they could do, and I can't support coming through that wetland and being right up on that wall.
Understood.
And if this does pass, I think this is the only other community we have in the city is with a single entrance is Lake Denham Estates, and that's a nightmare. I get a ton of calls on that. That was approved back in 2005. If this does get approved, speeding there's a long stretch of road.
There is.
Obviously, speed humps or whatever would cause more noise, but I'm constantly getting calls about that. So if this just gets approved, I would like to see speed tables or some sort of speed.
If it does get approved, if you add that to your motion, we'll make sure.
Thank you. That's
Yes,
all for
sir.
me. Any other commission comments?
I've been vocal on a few developments that I would take landscape buffers over fences. That's just my one person's opinion. This one I see a wall up against a potential wall up against another wall, and I guess in my way, there's got to be a better way to work through that. If they use that road, I mean, I welcome the residents' input, but if I was them, I would probably, if I have a wall, I think I would rather see that money spent on a bigger landscape buffer versus two walls with a 5-6 foot gap between them. It just doesn't look right to me. But that's my only comment.
Understood.
Is the applicant here and would they like to say anything? Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, Logan Opsall, 215 North Hewlett Drive. I do have a PowerPoint prepared if you'd like me to go through it substantively, or we can just respond to some of the, okay, great. Go through that. I'll be brief because I know we'll have another shot at going through this and discussing, and Dan did a great job of giving the overview, so I'll go through some of these rather quickly. But it's currently within the urban medium future land use designation of the county. I heard Dan say urban low, but we're urban medium along with the surrounding areas. That's all right. So as you can see from the Lake County zoning classifications, the ag picks up the wetland area, but we are within R6, and so we'll get to this in a later slide, but under Lake County, that future land use allows up to 7 dwelling units an acre. R6 brings it down to 6. The PUD being proposed before you would cap it at 4. Here's your city zoning map. This is the site plan, the mix of units as outlined by Dan. There's the detached and then they're attached. The attached is a much smaller portion, it's the 32, and that's what's there in orange on the southern portion of the property. This is the chart I was just talking about. It's the 4 dwelling units an acre proposed as opposed to the 7 dwelling units an acre in the county. Again, that's under urban medium. The R6 zoning would bring it down to 6 dwelling units an acre. So I think the next slides will be helpful for you too, Mr. Mayor and the commission, because it gives a little background on the access points, because their points are well taken, what we've heard at the community meeting, and what you've seen, Mr. Mayor, walking the site. We perform several site walkthroughs as well. This is a bit of a flag lot, which provides that access road. We heard the concerns. We had the meeting, the neighborhood meeting. We also had correspondence with some of the residents and pursued other options trying to look at those. Unfortunately, where we stand right now is that what you see before you is the only property that we have under ownership. And I'll touch a little bit about some of the other items we discuss here, like the wall and the precast. And quite frankly, just so the commission's aware, we are, hearing those, fielding those concerns. I think there's some different preferences as related to the wall and the landscape and the different fencing.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I was just giving you my thoughts.
No, I think it's a good thought because we've entertained multiple and would be happy to further review those. These are, I think it's an important slide because it shows that there was platted access out there in the past. The areas shown in yellow were old platted access roads that were vacated by the county. They're gone, unfortunately. There's really no legal mechanism to bring them back or resurrect them. Those old platted access right-of-ways were vacated. And so that's kind of where we started the search of alternative access points. This was another one being proposed through the southern portion of the property and then running, east and west, then running north and south up to the property. Important to note, this still does impact the wetlands. And when we looked at the differences between what's out there today for potential access that's being proposed to this body from the staff presentation of your PUD ordinance, this proposal has 2 major issues. One, it does still impact the wetlands. We ran the figures just to compare to understand, and it's about 1.2 acres of impact to the wetlands as to about 6.635 acres of impacted areas as proposed and as existing. But the most glaring one is that we don't own this property, and we're told that by the seller that they are not interested in selling that or otherwise granting access over those areas. Now, there is another existing access point that's out there today. Of course, this is the least desired from the neighborhood because it's was part of their approval. And when we're looking at things like a property that needs legal access, this is something we talked about in Planning Commission. The only avenue outside of what's being proposed by virtue of the PUD is seeking judicial remedy to allow for easement by necessity, which is a common law and statutory right in Florida. And we wanted to raise this because this is not preferred by anybody to go through here as a permanent access or otherwise. And so one of the things we wanted to make clear to this concern is that we would not seek to utilize this access in any way for our proposed project. But I just raised the former issue because, to the extent we would need to go forward and get some sort of judicial remedy to get access, this is something that would be looked at and certainly not preferred. And we just want to make clear that that's something that we looked at eyes wide open and communicated to the residents. We wouldn't be seeking that by virtue of this project. And this is the alternative. This is the one that went through the Lake County property, and we have the email confirmation from the county that they would not be looking to surplus this area and would be not providing any access over the Lake County portion of that wetland. And this is the one I think we probably talked about the most at Planning Commission, the ability and the flexibility to move the access road either north or south as able to maybe give a little distance. Now, we noted, and your city attorney noted, that we are fine with that kind of condition to look at that. This needs to go through extensive review from the Water Management District and others jurisdictions, as you know. And so to the extent they tell us where it needs to go and to be permitted, we understand that. We would put that in the appropriate portion as permitted, but the flexibility to move north and south, we would work with the city on that to give a little separation. So this says 6 foot. What's being proposed is actually 8, so that's incorrect. It's 8. And these are some of the concepts that the mayor referenced, some of the renderings. Removing the sidewalk on that portion of the property so that we could provide more landscaping, as well as the wall that was being discussed and proposed today. So this is just kind of a look down the street of what that would look like, and then looking at it. So there is an existing retaining wall and the proposed 8-foot masonry wall. The gap there would be maintained by the HOA, and that was another discussion point. We would work with their HOA, whatever preferred, to the extent they want to keep that natural or not maintained or have that distance, that's understood too. Again, on this front, we really want to work with the residents because we're aware, I keep saying the words eyes wide open, that this is not, the most preferable access parcel to a property, but it's what we're left with, and we're hoping to work on these options of what would be most preferred for the residents. So this is looking behind the wall, and I have one more here just to give a line of sight view as reference, looking through a potential second-story window. This is looking over what's being proposed is the 8-foot masonry wall. Again, that's the access road. So the view shed still picks up the wetland and the landscaping, but of course there's the addition of the wall as well. And again, to the commissioner's point, we've offered several things. This seemed to be the one that took the consensus because it added a bit more screening and blocking, security, prevents some noise, things like that. But we are open to those options. So with that, we do request, in line with staff's recommendation, approval, and I'm happy to answer any specific questions. And we have representatives from the project team here too, if you have any others. Thank you.
Any questions for the applicant? All right, good.
I was just going to comment, I think it's an accurate statement, but by you trying to create more of a buffer, like do the wall, the fence, that's cheating you to the south, which is creating more wetlands mitigation. Is that correct?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
I guess I appreciate you working with the residents, but you're moving the road further south. It looks like. Maybe you're not. If you're not, I'll stop right there. But
Yeah.
in an effort to buffer with the wall, and this is not a criticism.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is there a compromise that reduces wetlands mitigation by shifting the road to the north while keeping residents happy with wall, landscaping, whatever.
Yeah, so we try to provide adequate room on both sides of the equation,
Okay.
right? And allow for that landscaping. The removal of the sidewalk helped a lot. I think to your other point, what we were trying to do from Planning Commission is we would show flexibility within our property line if the Water Management District or any other permitting agency wanted us to push it south or would allow us to do that. That was a condition that came out of Planning Commission. We would.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I probably didn't state my question very well earlier, but I was trying to help you stay out of wetlands as within reason, because.
Yeah, it's a balancing beam.
Right.
Yeah.
But, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other commissioner comments? All right, we'll open the floor for public comments. If you would like to come up, you have 3 minutes. Just
Thank
state
you for
your
your
name
time.
and address. Thank you, sir.
Good Good afternoon. My name is Angela Chambliss, and I live at 33144 Iron Gate Drive in Leesburg. I first would like to have the developers to give you an accurate drawing of what it was supposed to look like. None of us live in a two-story home, so we're not going to be able to overlook anything. The drawings are inaccurate because of the wetlands. They're showing that that road would be built at a ground level. That is inaccurate because of a 100-year flood rule or whatever that law is. They have to build that road up 61 inches. So therefore, the back of our homes are 61 inches. They have to build 61 inches. So it doesn't matter if you have a wall. It doesn't matter if you have a buffer. They're sitting on our back patios and our pool decks. So the drawings were inaccurate at the rezoning. It's inaccurate still today. We've been a lifelong residents. Our children have gone to school here. I'm sorry if I'm a little nervous and I'm a little upset because we have invested in our homes. These were our forever homes. To now to be rezoned, and the value that would decrease would be approximately, we're going to take a huge hit on our home values. So if I wanted to sell my home today, I can't sell it because of the potential of this coming in. We're not saying not to have the homes being built back there because that would be a little bit hypocritical. But the same people that owns the area that goes directly behind our home is the same people that we're just asking. They've not listened to any of our concerns. The only thing that they've put in here is a wall. And we don't want a wall. We don't want the road. If they want to put it in the driest area, because when we have a hurricane, that water is 30 feet off of our back wall. And it's not just a little bit. You'll go out there and you'll sink knee deep in it. So we're asking them to push further towards the mall. There are 2 viable entrances where they could come in and build these roads. None of us, they've not heard any of our concerns. We do not want them directly behind our wall. It's literally 30 feet off of our wall where they will begin the building. There's 2 viable options, and the same people that owns the area behind our home owns the entire property. They've not done anything to try to mitigate that and to hear our concerns or to move it. This is not what we want. This is not what we've asked for. They had a meeting, blew smoke up our skirts, and didn't hear anything that we had to say. I've owned a pageant system here for a long time. I've invested into the city. I've been a friend to the city, and I hope that you're a friend to us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chamberlain. Yes, Ms. Cheney.
Hi, Alan Chen, 8010 Treasure Island Road, Leesburg, 34788. We have just a couple of pictures here. The first is just showing this little yellow sliver here that appears to be owned by someone else, and also this blue area on the left side that also appears to be owned by someone else. The Village Lake Promenade. So we're not sure. Does this require its own annexation if not owned by the owner of the Old Mill subdivision? And then if we go to the second slide here. So as you mentioned and others have mentioned, there are significant amounts of wetlands in the area. One thing when we work with Lake County quite a bit on wetlands, and as you know, we went through this with Treasure Trove last year or year before, yes, which has a significant amount of wetlands. This is very similar in that respect. Lake County doesn't really allow wetlands to be filled in. But if you approve this, this would be kind of counter to what Lake County likes to do regarding wetlands. And I understand there are credits and everything else that can be used to fill in the property, but that doesn't really help protect the environment. Or the neighbors, and that's actually in the next slide. It can cause issues with adjoining properties. So on the next slide, it's kind of an elevation map, again, from the county site. Showing the subject property to be higher than the adjoining properties to the south and to the east. The whole property is currently wooded, which takes in quite a bit of the runoff. And obviously, with all these developments, you see clear cut. Every tree goes down. And once you clear cut, runoff is likely to impact adjoining properties. And despite how they do their water mitigation systems and hydrology simulations, we know from Silver Lake Point, and we suspect in fighting Treasure Trove, we're going to see similar issues because of all the wetlands and runoff. There are properties that don't have wetlands. Those are much better to develop as opposed to these types of properties. So we suspect there may be some flooding issues to those adjoining developments. And then on the fourth slide here is kind of a semi-proposal which is suggesting that we minimize the impacts, put a 100-foot buffer all the way around. This could be a tree buffer or a vegetative buffer, but something that would help to protect against the runoffs. Let me see, take a look at that. Yeah, and you can see that it also minimizes any impact to the wetlands in this property. So having said all this, obviously we are against this annexation, and we hope you are as well.
Thank you, Mr. Chen.
Hi, I'm Louise Chen from 8010 Treasure Island Road. I'm the one that came up, I just drew this up this afternoon. This whole lot has got existing trees. I looked back, it's got the existing trees since 2004. The flood map is done like 2012. So if this were to be completely clear cut, this would significantly change the flood zone. These people down here are only at 70 feet. This is at 75 feet. I don't know if this contractor would come in and raise the whole thing up like they're gonna do with Treasure Trove. But this could have a catastrophic effect on the neighbors, both this here and here where they're only at 70 feet. I'm just very afraid for the neighbors, the impact. So, and they don't really have, you know, just what are they gonna do? Like you hear the forever homes. So that's my thing. And I'm willing to help anybody who needs help. So anyway, you have a nice day, everyone.
Thank you, Ms. Chen. Any other public comments?
Hi, Ray Hayden, 14 Buccaneer Drive, Leesburg, Florida. On this particular one here, the Chens did cover my concerns, which is the runoff. They're higher. Water goes down hills. It's going to happen, and they're going to flood. Now, Buccaneer Drive, that's part of Lake Leesburg Mobile Home Park. We own a unit there at 14 Buccaneer Drive. And that area has been flooding when it had not previously been, according to the owners of the community there, right? The corporation that owns that. So there have been issues of late with more recent, not right now with the dry spell, but there have been issues with flooding into the mobile home park there. That's an issue. The other thing is when looking at it today on the maps and everything else, there are the two wetlands, and of course everything down there where that road needs to go is wetland. You're going to be dealing with that. They did show on the presentation. They show the protection and preservation of the wetlands with their water retention systems and things of that nature. Some of these things are done well, but the difference in the land elevations or height above ground, the water tables, that's going to be a problem. The other problem is, yeah, it is landlocked, and yes, a judicial remedy of by necessity to get into the property that would probably happen. It would probably happen. Nobody's going to be happy with that of the other land property because you can't have a landlocked property. You just can't. That can't happen. So there will be some forcible entry to get into that property. Now on the two wall system along the top end of that property, I can tell you, and so can anybody else who has acreage or anything else, when you've got to, because we also do over there on the other side of town, outside of town, anytime you got that stuff, you have problems with growth, trees and this stuff like that. And as you wait, you know, I guess the mind, civilization knows that, yeah, stuff grows up and covers your entire civilization. I have trees that push over fences. They happen. I mean, just last hurricane season, I still have a tripod of a tree sitting over one of my fences. And I still have to get up there and remove it, okay? So, because it's the dead tree now. But the problem is going to be the same there. Between two concrete walls, if you want to go with a wall, that's going to happen. That growth is going to come up. Who's going to maintain that? I used to have on my property, the other property, a road to nowhere. It was just chock full of trees and other things, and there was no reason for that fence to be there. I couldn't figure out why it was there. So I removed both those fences. They were just barbed wire fences. But I removed them because there were things growing in there that should not have been growing in there. There was just no way I could maintain it. I couldn't even get my mower in the gate to get there, to that little road to nowhere. So be careful with this. You annex this property, it's going to be Leesburg's property going down the road. I swear it will. It's going to happen. I see it all the time. All right? Thank you very much.
John Scheider, 33136 Iron Drive. I wonder if the young lady over there could bring up one of the slides that showed an aerial view of the artist's rendering. Wait, go back. One more. There you no, one more. It's more of an, there you go. That one there. All right. It shows the existing wall, which we moved in our property 2004. We were told the wetlands could never be built upon, so we've enjoyed the beauty of it. But I'm not going to talk about that. Other people have spoken to that. I'm more concerned about the wetlands. That picture you see there, very beautiful. With the exception of the existing wall, that's all sitting on wetlands in their proposal. What they haven't, what you don't see is it's all beautiful. How do we protect the wetlands? There's grass, there's trees, there's fertilization being put in there that can contaminate the water of the wetlands. You have, that looks like asphalt. You have runoff oils off the road. So I'm not against building. I'm against the access road and some of the damage it can do. Now, this is sitting on annexed property, so now we're chipping away at the wetlands. As it is now, that's kind of a slippery slope, so to speak. So, as I said, I'm concerned with the pollution that it will cause to the wetlands and the fact that now we're starting to compromise ourselves with the wetlands. So I ask you, I know you represent all of Leesburg, I want you to be stewards, not only for the community, for the people in the community, but also for the wetlands. So I'm against this access road as it's currently planned. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other public comments?
Good afternoon. My name is Edgar Morales. I live in 33128. I'm going to try to be brief. Dear Commissioner, we want to express our negative reasons why we should disagree with the road behind the Stonegate subdivision. The road will be developed in a wetland area, like everybody mentioned. The proposed road is too close to the houses and backyards, lack of privacy, lack of security. The increasing heavy traffic of trucks can and will destroy the support of the wall that we have at this moment to create damage on the foundation of the pools of every house. So think about that. Who will pay for that? The load, the loud noise, the vehicles, the truck, the buses, everything in that area. The wetland damage, Section 404 of a Clean Water Act. St. John Water Management District identified wetlands by considering the water level, soil, saturation, and type of vegetation in that area. The damage of the concrete wall, retaining wall from east to west. The most important reason is the decrease in value property. My daughter have the same situation in Texas. 25% of the house decrease in value. It was bad to sell the house. The only reasonable solution for this project is to move the road south, closer to Radio Road. There is a lot number, 1703751, which is owned by the Village Lake Promed. I forgot about, yes, thank you. To enter to the new subdivision, I urge the Commissioner to explore the alternative solution that better align with the community needs. In light of the previous approval of the road, by Planning and Zoning, I kindly request the Commissioner to reject the approval of that road closer to the Stonegate subdivision. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other public comments? Yes, sir.
I wonder if we can get the first one, Dan, if you had up there, the first diagram, his first one. I've got a flash drive that has a couple of maps on it, but yeah, that'll work.
If you would just state your name and address.
My name is Peter Cady. I live at 33148 Iron Gate Drive, which puts me, can I go over here?
You gotta stay by the mic.
Okay, right above selected property, the one on the left. It's
Mr. Cady's house is like
right there. Yes, thank you so much. Now, the St. John's Water Management District is going to either allow or deny a permit to put that road there. And I was told just recently that they have to permit it because there's no other access. And the people that own that subdivision, which we have nothing against, the proposed subdivision, they need to get out to Radio Road somehow. So there is another way. Now, right below, boy, I wish I could get over there because there's no way I can. You have a pointer? Anybody with a little doodad pointer thing?
Oh, there you go. There. Toward that red dot right there.
All right, beautiful. If I can just hold my hand still. Now, this is wetlands all in here and all down in here. Now, if they move this road south a little more, they're going to, as Mr. Pedersen said, there's going to be more wetland that's going to be affected. Now, what I'm suggesting and what is possible here is that the wetland goes across here like this and then goes down and then comes along this little line right there. Well, I can't hold this hand straight. How about if I do this? This will help, right there. So this area right here is dry, and that area up there is dry. So we've got dry there, and the only real wetland area here would be right there. Now, what we could do, and they can get this property if they need to get it, they could run, here's the mall, they could run a road right across here, go right up this little strip, and go right into that property. And they would be the amount of wetland would not be very much compared to what they're going to do here if they run this road a little further south. So this will work. They just have to get this property somehow, or they can run the road right across onto this private road, and then they have a light to get out. Already, Lakes of Leesburg has a little inlet to this road, so there's no problem with that coming down that way. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Cady. Any other public comments? Would the applicant like to say anything?
Just for a minute.
Yes, sir.
Thank you all for your time. I mean, we know the challenge, right? It's very readily identified. And Mr. Cady makes a good point too. I mean, there are alternatives that I know would make the residents a lot happier and make this project easier. And the fact of the matter is we only own that. Now, one of the things that we've looked at and we can just present to your consideration as a condition to this approval is, as we work through site plan, final engineering, we would continue to diligently pursue alternative access points, one way or the other, whether it be resolution of necessity, which doesn't give anybody much certainty, control over where it goes, or finding alternative property to acquire, which we are diligently pursuing. to allow that to be administratively implemented following adoption of the PUD would be something that if we're able to obtain it, would make everybody a lot happier. Where we're left with currently is this subject property, and the thought going into it above board was that it gives, through this avenue of the PUD, the ability to provide things like the wall or extended landscaping, if that's preferred, under certainty of the PUD. And now if we can bake in alternatives, if we're able to acquire alternative access, that be implemented, we'd be happy to do that because we are diligently pursuing. But right now, this is the only access that we have to the property. And when we look at, again, things like a resolution of necessity, although we would present alternatives that would help some of the comments we heard tonight, most of the time, most of the case law out there is straight shot, easiest access, less impacts to wetlands. Because although, and Mr. Cady makes a good point, there are some dry spots along there. We've run those wetland analysis because it's something that we have looked into, that portion, based on these comments. And it would equate to more wetland impacts. Now, notwithstanding, if we could achieve it, then I'm hearing loud and clear that would be preferred. But where we stand today, we are being told we cannot have that property. And so although we've pursued the options I outlined in my presentation, what's being presented to you is the property under our ownership with the most concessions possible to the residents of some of the concerns along the access point. And I'll finish on this. We'll continue to hear those, and if the wall is not preferred, we know that there'll be piping underneath to allow flow. If it's additional landscaping, we're all ears on that. So I just want to conclude with that and thank you for your time because your points are very well taken. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Dan, do we know when this will lay over till?
Mr. Chairman, since this is an annexation, it'll be 30 days.
30 days. So that would be
May
So we count 30 days and then the next available meeting.
May 27th.
No, it would have to go to June because we wouldn't get the 30 days in if we go to May 27th. So it'd be first meeting in June.
So it'd be June 9th.
June 9th. All right, this will lay over till June 9th. All right. We'll move along to, we have no non-routine items, none. Informational reports. Any updates or discussions on those? Seeing none. City attorney items.
No items this evening, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. City manager items.
Obviously had a super great bike fest, great weather. Wanted to shout out to Travis and Maggie for doing an awesome job coordinating everything. At least from my end, it was pretty seamless. I don't have any numbers for you as of yet, but hopefully they will be good, and we'll get that report to you ASAP.
Thank you, sir. Roll call.
Commissioner Connell?
Nothing.
Commissioner Peterson?
Nothing tonight.
Commissioner Berry?
Nothing tonight.
Mayor Reesman?
A couple things. I just want to again, thanks to Commissioner Morris for stopping by. I was out at Bike Fest over the weekend helping out. Huge kudos to Maggie and the special events team, our public works. I think I saw people from every department around the city, from IT to finance to everybody out there helping. It was a joint effort, making it a huge success. And without Maggie and her brains behind Bike Fest, this wouldn't have been as huge of a success. So thank you to everyone who came out and helped. And then lastly, the Public Works Department, along with our City Beautification Board, did Arbor Day tree giveaways. That was one of the most shared things on, I think, our social media. It grew. I think the police had to be called in because it was backing up onto Dixie. So many people wanted trees. So huge kudos to Public Works and Cliff and his team. Look forward to growing that event and making it bigger next year. And with that, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second. Move that we adjourn the meeting.
And we have a motion and a second. Meeting adjourned.